What's up, people? Chris here to do a somewhat brief video for UFC on Fox. 3 predictions going down next Saturday night, coincidentally, same day as Mayweather versus Cotto. I believe they did this previously with UFC on Fox 1. They went up against Pacquiao fight, I believe. I'm not sure which one it was. Maybe Pacquiao Marquez 3. Don't recall which fight exactly, but kind of interesting. Going head-to-head in a way. I know they said that they hope the card's over before the main event of Mayweather Cotto starts, but I don't know. Interesting that they would do that. Although it's not UFC based. Fox basically scheduled the day, but interesting regardless, whatever the decision was behind that. As far as the fights, I'm only gonna talk about the main card, one prelim. The prelim, former Ultimate Fighter winner Tony Ferguson taking on former Ultimate Fighter runner-up Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson looked improved in his last fight, training with the Black Zillion camp. Those guys have had mixed results at best thus far. Johnson got the wrestling advantage, I think, but Ferguson's an alright wrestler. I think Ferguson's a better striker, probably better with submissions, better gas tank, which I think is going to help him out here. Johnson may have some success getting takedowns early, but ultimately I think not enough to get a decision, so I'm going to go with Ferguson by decision. I think he's going to land a cleaner, harder strikes overall throughout the fight. Pat Barry, LeVar Johnson, fun fight. Basically, you know what you're going to get in this one. Should be a slugfest. We say that time and again with certain matchups that doesn't happen, but what is either of these guys going to do on the ground, right? Basically, Pat Barry's a better striker. Technical. I think LeVar Johnson probably hits harder, probably has more punching power. Barry should be able to win this fight with kicks. He's just playing smart, using his speed. But I don't know, man. He's been in fights that have made it a lot tougher than what he should have. I would have thought he was going to kill Jerry Beltran, and we saw that fight. Although he won pretty definitively, it was a lot tougher than it should have been, whereas LeVar Johnson just smoked Joey Beltran in his last fight, from what I recall. I want to favor Pat Barry, and I think he should be the favorite, but I don't know if LeVar can crack him one solid time. Pat Jordan doesn't have the best chin. I think Barry should win this by decision, employing a lot of leg kicks and movement, but call me crazy. Barry's just too inconsistent for my liking at this point. I'm going with LeVar Johnson by TKO. Husmar Pajares taking on Alan Belcher. Clash of styles. Belcher the striker. Pajares the submission machine. Comes down to this for me. Obviously, it goes down to who's going to employ their style. But Belcher, he's just hasn't been able to fight consistently over the last couple of years because of injuries. Pajares has been fighting on a pretty consistent basis himself. Belcher likes to throw kicks. Pajares is going to look to catch that kick, get him to the ground, work that leg. I think that's what's going to happen. Either that or Pajares is just going to get a takedown. Not to say that Belcher doesn't have the power to put Pajares out with a shot, but I think Pajares has got a pretty sturdy chin. Look at the shot he took from Nate Marquardt. It's kind of a crazy shot he wasn't prepared for, but he didn't go down from it. I mean, he went down, but he wasn't knocked out. So I'm going to go with Pajares by submission, some kind of a leg lock, heel hook, knee bar. Josh Koscheck, Johnny Hendricks. Intriguing matchup. Similar styles in a way. Both heavily or strongly credentialed college wrestlers. Both have shown power with their strikes, if they're not the most technical strikers, although we always hear Joe Rogan carry on about how improved Josh Koscheck's striking is. Like he's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a really good striker with his hands in the UFC. Can't think of one off the top, but Josh Koscheck's striking isn't what Joe Rogan would lead you to believe it is. It's alright. But as we saw against George St. Pierre in the rematch, nothing spectacular. As for this fight, Koscheck looked decent in his last fight, split decision win over Mike Pierce. A lot of people thought Pierce deserved to win that fight. Johnny Hendricks, of course, knocked out Costa's old teammate, John Fitch, relatively quickly. Real surprising result. This one, tough call, man. I think Koscheck's striking is better overall than and more rounded than Johnny Hendricks. I don't really know who has wrestling advantage in this one. Hendricks won a NCAA title. I don't think Koscheck did. So you might want to give the edge to Hendricks there. As far as wrestling inside the octagon, not sure who has the edge in all honesty. Hendricks might have more punchy power slightly. I don't know, man. Ever since Koscheck lost that fight to GSP, that rematch, he just hasn't looked the same. As far as in the stamina department, Devin doesn't want to get hit. A little bit more caution on the feet. I think Hendricks is going to look to exploit that, be aggressive. The wrestling, I think, is going to cancel itself out. I think Hendricks is going to win this fight by stoppage. I just think he's going to hurt Josh. Josh is going to panic, and Hendricks is going to finish him off. Main event of the night, Jim Miller, Nate Diaz. Really looking forward to this one. Said time and again, Nate Diaz, along with his brother Nick, two of my favorite fighters in the sport. Probably top two favorite. Along with Donald Cerrone. Jim Miller, always fun to watch, win or lose. Always a perennial top lightweight contender. 5-round fight. That's good. Hard to see how this one's going to go. We've seen Nate have trouble against smaller guys that are wrestlers that have been able to kind of hold him and stifle him, like Clay Guida and I want to say Joe Stevenson did it as well. I don't recall exactly. As well as Dong Hyun Kim at 170. And also Roy McDonald, although that was a different fight. However, this being a 5-round fight, I don't know if Jim Miller is going to be able to do that for 5 rounds. Nate's dangerous for the submissions always, but Jim Miller I think he's a black belt in BJJ, so he should be able to avoid submissions. He's got some pretty good subs of his own. Stand up, got to get the huge edge to Nate Diaz. Got the length advantage, reach advantage, height. He's just a much better overall striker or boxer. So on the feet, definitely give the edge to Nate. On the ground, wrestling department, got to give the edge to Jim Miller. Subs Nate. I don't think Nate's going to be able to submit Jim, but I don't know if Jim's going to be able to control Nate on the ground for all 5 rounds. He might be able to do for enough to win a fight, though. Win the decision, just 3 rounds. Very likely scenario, although I think Nate can work him over on the feet. Tough call, man. I'm a big Nate Diaz fan, but I think Jim's got the style to probably give him troubles. So, I think the likely scenario is Jim Miller by decision, but I'm going to go with Nate Diaz by decision, just by maybe winning 3 rounds or 2 by being a little bit more active on the feet. I think that being maybe enough to sway the judges, but this one can go either way. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on this event? Not the event itself necessarily, but the fights, which ones you're interested in, who you think's going to win and why. Talking about this event more, as always, on ScienceFinds.com, Science Finds Radio Show. Links for that in the information part of the video, as always, as well as links to Science Finds on Facebook and me on Twitter. That's it for now, though. Until next time, I'm out.